Welcome to this episode of The Entrepreneur's Journey with Joyce. As you all know, my name is Joyce. Today we're having a special guest. She's the CEO of EGR Lighting Company Limited in Abuja here, of course. It's a foremost company that they sell electrical components. They do wirings, they do installations, they sell fittings, and then all that. She'll be telling us her story and how she, ventured into entrepreneurship, the lessons she has picked up along the way. She'll be inspiring us today. So sit back, enjoy, and relax while we inspire you today. Hello, Susan.
Hi, Joyce.
Yeah, welcome to
Thank
our
you.
show today.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, I've always admired your resilience and your consistency in business.
Thank
Yes,
you.
so I would like you to tell us your story. How did you become an entrepreneur? What made you, venture into entrepreneurship?
Okay. So, first of all, thank you for having me.
You're
I'm really
welcome.
delighted to be here.
Yeah.
I started my entrepreneurial journey, if I am to be accurate, from just 1 or 2.
Wow.
Yes. So they would say that's not really entrepreneurship, that's called small business or petty trading or whatever. But I think it's a build-up of everything.
Okay.
So from just 2, my dad has a friend who lives in the US, and every time he came home every year, he would bring things to sell. So it started from Avon products. It was Avon cosmetics, lip balms, hand lotions. It was a lot of things, perfumes. And I was really, interested in selling. So I'll take some to school and I'll sell to my classmates. I'll take it to church. I'll take it to anyone who came by the house, and I would just sell. So I realized that, okay, people were buying. And at the time, I didn't realize it was because they were, impressed to see a little girl selling something and it just, wanted to support her. But because I saw it work for me, I just realized that I loved doing this. I love giving people things in exchange for money. So that's the background story.
Okay.
Fast forward to now, how did I find myself here in this line of business? I worked with a company that was focused on a wide range of services in the construction and real estate industry.
Okay.
So they had an aluminium factory. Then they were into wholesale and retail of building finishing materials. This included pipes, that's for sanitary, for plumbing.
Okay.
Sanitary, that's toilet seats, wash and basins, taps, the whole works. And then they particularly had an electrical brand which sold switches, sockets, and then a little bit of commercial lighting.
Okay.
So I found that a lot of people who came to buy switches and sockets came, of course, because it was quality and they could, they knew the brand and they knew that it would not fail. But they also asked a lot for lighting, and they'll be saying, oh, why don't you guys have this? Why don't you have this? So I saw a gap there, and I realized that a lot of people could not find, quality brands for lighting that was not China in the Abuja market. So that's how I began this journey, and here we are.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, could you tell us about EGR company?
Okay.
Yes, just give us an overview. Of course, your location, and I know we are here right now, but
Okay.
still, yes, tell us about your company.
Okay, so EGR, it's an acronym.
Okay.
It means Elena Global Resources.
Okay.
And Elena means bright shining light
Oh,
or a
wow.
bright torch.
Okay.
So for the longest time, I've held on to, a particular, should I say mantra, or I don't know, I've always held on to the fact that we're called to be light in darkness. So that's the first business name that I ever had. It's actually called LID, Lead Integrated, and it exists for different purposes, but I've always known that the assignment is to be light. And then I now find myself gravitating towards a lighting business. And this was not planned because LID came years before now. So I said the best way to depict what we're doing is to actually name it what it is, light. So I found, because I do business with a Greek company, some of our lights are manufactured in Greece.
Oh, wow.
And in Greek, Elena means bright shining light or bright touch. So that's how I came about the name, EGR, Elena Global Resources Lighting. So because we do other things apart from lights, we just have EGR lighting. Then of course we have EGR in other formats.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So, yes, your location, please.
Okay, so we're here in the city of Abuja.
Yeah.
We are at 53 Euphrates Crescent, Maitama. It's on the same road as Banex. It's right after Banex and before you hit Yoruba Mosque. It's right on the major highway linking you to Agui, Ronsi, and Transcorp and Dunes. You would notice a see-through glass store at the first floor that has some lighting. So that's where we're located. And of course, we hope to expand to other locations soon.
Yeah, that would be nice. You will expand some.
Amen. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So, well, I know that, well, with the current economic states we're in, with the situation of the economy, how are you able to keep your business running? How are you able to keep afloat? I know lights are, well, of course, we always need lights. Everybody needs light, but it's also an item one could cut down on and say, okay, let me focus on feeding before I buy
Yeah.
luxury lights. Yeah, so how do you keep afloat? How do you keep your, company running?
That's a very valid question. Um, so to be honest, I would say that our product offering is luxury because our typical, our typical prices are different from what you find in the market because of what we are, guaranteeing you. However, I also understand that the world or the times that we're in, people are moved by sight, by what they see. So we have focused on ensuring that, first of all, we offer premium quality, and then we also ensure that what we have is aesthetically pleasing. There's also something that drives people. People buy based on emotion. Yes. So you have a circle of friends where you're comparing your new homes or you're remodeling, because now everybody wants to take lovely pictures with beautiful backgrounds. And we all know the role of lighting when it comes to backgrounds, when it comes to, aesthetics and setting the right ambience or the right tone for a place. So people realize that they want to buy something that will be their money's worth, something that will also give them the effects that they want. So somehow people keep coming here because they know that they're going to get what they want at the right price, at the right quality, and of course something unique that you will not find in 10 other houses or 10 other offices and all of that. So on that end of the products, we have that secured. However, challenges still exist. There's rising costs every day of importation. You project things and it just never works out the way that you want it to. But we still find a way, to manage and balance and stay relevant. So you have to be very flexible especially in an environment like this or in times like this. So we figure out a way to not compromise quality and to still remain pocket friendly as much as, is within range of what we're offering. So it encourages clients to come back or to even do referrals and of course to get new clients as well.
Are you always able to network with people in your field? Do you meet other people who are into lights? And are you able to, network, exchange contacts, and help each other grow in the business?
Oh yes. So here in Abuja, I have a few people that I associate closely with. We do business together. Um, it's not the good thing is they do quality China. So sometimes if there's something I need that I don't have, I can, network with them. But I find that there's more or there seems to be more opportunities for that in Lagos. So there's not a lot of industry events around lighting. However, there are joint events. For example, we have it used to be the Abuja International Housing Show. It's now Africa International Housing Show. So they had a lot of people from mostly, I mean, real estate companies, some doing a lot of pipes and all of that, but there was really nobody doing lighting. So in Lagos, the previous companies that I had, okay, there's a Big Five construct. It's an annual event that takes 5 countries from Africa and the Middle East.
Okay.
So I go for that every year. I went this year. This was September. And I was really, disappointed or deflated to see that there was no lighting company in attendance this year. They just had a lot of, piping, building materials, damp proof, treatments and all of that, tiles and all. But there was really no company that had any lights to show. So I really felt deflated that, traveling right now, you go to Lagos all the way for an international expo and there's nothing for you. So it shows that there's quite a gap, quite a gap in this industry or in this sector.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, and that will bring me to my next question.
Okay.
The, when people see that a lady is into the lighting business rather, I won't say it's strange, but a lot of people just feel like it's gender sensitive. So when they come to meet you and say, you do lights? Really? Are you sure you can handle my lighting? Are you sure you can, wire my new building as a lady? Do you get, such comments? And how are you able to, will I say, remarket yourself,
Mm-hmm.
so that it works for you?
Yes, actually, I do get a lot of, comments or feedback like that. So first of all, they're asking, what's a lady doing in this kind of business? They always ask me, why did you get into lighting? How? And so sometimes they think, oh, maybe I found myself here accidentally, or maybe I'm doing it for someone, maybe I'm just a front.
Mm,
I get that a lot, but I think that all they need is just a few minutes of interaction with me, and then they realize that I actually know about these things, that I actually know what I'm saying, that I actually understand not just the products but the markets and the entire industry. So it puts them at ease because they know that this person, beyond just selling, this person has a technical knowledge and a technical background. And so also my engineering background helps me a lot. It comes into play when we have to discuss properly. And one thing we do here as well is that we give you free consultation to a large extent.
okay.
For example, you have certain things that you say you want to purchase for your project or something that your electrician has recommended. Because we understand the technicalities behind these things, we can say, oh no, I don't think you should use this. And they would ask why. Then we go ahead to explain, oh, because this and that and that. You're looking at energy consumption, you're looking at the other components in the house, you're looking at this, you're looking at that, you're looking at even the limit of what a particular component should take. So when they hear things like that, they know that, oh, this person or these people know, they know what they're about, they know what they're doing, they know what they're saying. So it, just really puts them at ease and they're like, okay, this is interesting. And
Mhm.
then they now remove that whole paranoia about dealing with a woman, and all of that. And then they now start to see you as a person who deals with lights without the gender cap. So I get that a lot. And then it also works for me favorably on the flip side because people are just wow, they're like, oh, this is so interesting. And so that works, positively for me as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think one lesson to take away is always know what you sell. Yes,
True.
know what you sell, and then that will just work for you.
Very true.
What role does social media play when it comes? Because I know I see your status a lot on WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm.
I see you put up, a lot of adverts and all that. So how
Mm-hmm.
has social media helped you?
Okay.
And then how do you encourage other businesses to,
Mm.
make use or take advantage of social media? Yeah.
Okay. Social media is an excellent tool,
Mm.
and I'm really glad that we have something like that,
Mhm.
at our disposal. So, back when I first got in this line of business generally, I noticed that I could do sponsored ads. And I mean, it was less than professional, my presentation and everything. But I noticed that people reached out to me because they found interesting things that, they appreciated and liked and hadn't seen anywhere. And I'll get calls and I would get, I would still actually seal a sale.
Okay.
A sale, yes, that's correct.
Mhm.
So I noticed that, that worked for me. And I realized that I'm not a social media person per se.
Yeah.
My personal page is almost non-functional, but I try to ensure that on the business page, we have content that comes up, because I see how from my own unprofessional, you know, efforts, it has yielded results. It amplifies you, it gives you access to more people than you could possibly have, based on traditional marketing. So it has really worked favorably for this business, I would say. People know that, okay, you can go to this place, you can find these kinds of things. We display different, products from time to time. And it's really been, it's been favorable, yes.
How are you coping
Okay.
with when it comes to importation? Because you said most of your lights are made or are gotten from Greece, they are manufactured there, and then you have to import and all that. And then I know that the whole custom duty, because a lot of people want to, start importing stuff, but they are having issues, wrapping their head around it, or the cost is high. So how are you able to manage that?
Okay. So, to be honest, it's tough. I'll give you an example. I made payment for some goods and they needed, some time to be produced, manufactured. So I had pegged a certain rate to be for shipping.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they do not like to accept rates before time, because I think that they also have to work around certain conditions that affect their market. So I project that I need so and so amount, to ship this or to clear this. So I keep that money aside. I probably may buy it and keep, okay, so dollars aside. And then by the time the products are manufactured and ready, unfortunately, the rate might have gone up. And I'm not even saying like the local exchange rate here for buying, to pay the vendors or to pay the manufacturers or the shippers. I'm saying like the shipping rate might have gone up. For example, if you were shipping at maybe $5 per kg, then you now have to, within maybe a month's time that it takes for production, you have to ship at $6 or $7 per kg. So those things come up. But the truth is, you always have an advantage if you are able to be flexible. First of all, I leverage on my relationships with clients, because there are cases where they pay you ahead of time and say, oh, please buy this for me. I need it in so and so time. So I leverage on relationships where they understand that there is a history of, transparency and integrity. So if there's a slight shift, I can plead with them to say, oh, please, this and this came up. And it's, of course, none of our fault. But because there's an existing relationship, sometimes there's that consideration. In cases where there's no consideration, sometimes we actually do run at a loss.
Oh.
But, somehow that's how business goes. Some days you win, some days you lose. And then sometimes you make back in other transactions what you lost in one. And so another thing that I also try to focus on is trying to make sure that I sell what I have in stock, as opposed to saying, oh, I'll do that when times were more stable. Before people would say, I want this and I don't have it, but I'll say, oh, I can get this for you in maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I avoid that now completely, because nothing is cast in stone any longer. Things change as fast as the snap of your finger. So I'm just focused on what I can readily offer, or if I have clients that I have that kind of relationship with, and they would understand, the dynamics. So, but it's, quite a challenge for everyone. The exchange rates are increasing, and then you give people prices and they can't really understand why it costs so much. But for those who know what they are buying and who are also well, or well traveled, or well, in tune with things, they are able to understand and they still go ahead, to do business with us. So that's how that's how we get by.
Are there times where you have, woken up and then you're like, I can't go ahead with this anymore. In fact, I want to stop business. I'm tired. It's not working, or the economy is not favorable. Well, I'm not getting enough clients. How much have I even sold this month? That will continue. Have you ever experienced, things like
This
that?
was me yesterday.
Oh wow!
Oh,
Just
this was me.
yesterday.
Really? I think this happens to the best of us at different levels of business.
Okay.
Yesterday, I woke up and I really didn't even want to leave the house. So business was slightly slow. We have transactions, they come in, you get monies and all, but I think it was the reality of the economic situation around. I realized that I couldn't plan ahead. I couldn't plan maybe more than 3, 6 months ahead. any longer. You can't do any forecasting. You can't even say, oh, this is, for sure, and it would actually work according to plan. And then I was like, okay, if we are getting by now, nobody knows the future. So there's that fear of the unknown as well that comes, and you're like, so what will happen if people suddenly stop buying these products? What happens if people now realize, oh, this is not priority anymore? What happens if light goes up? What happens if, there's so many what ifs. And I just thought to myself, I panicked for a moment. And I said, Susan, are you sure you're not going to just switch back to, a career? So that happens a lot. I mean, I've had days like that I just wake up and I don't want to do this anymore. I've had days where I woke up one day and I did a rough evaluation of the value of the business, and I said, let me find someone who's just going to buy this. Let me join the Japa train, because all these years of sacrifice, it looked like it was paying off. And then suddenly there's all these things going on, the uncertainties. And I just said to myself, Susan, that you're still here is a good thing in itself. Because I know people who were bigger in business, they had more in terms of stock value, in terms of networks and everything. And they packed up and left because business went really bad for them. But honestly, I'm thankful that we're getting by every day. We're able to meet up, with our basic expectations. And so, yeah, everybody faces that moment. But we just look around us and we remember that we're not doing so badly. And then we're thankful to keep moving. And then some days bring pleasant surprises. Out of nowhere, you have something really beautiful that makes maybe your entire month or your week. So it keeps us going.
What advice do you have for people, first of all, who would like to, start up this kind of business, go into the lighting kind of business? Also, what advice do you have for people struggling? They have their own businesses already, but they're just trying to keep afloat, trying to push, trying to make it in this our economy. We don't want it to fold up. You have hope that things will get better. So what advice do you have for them?
Okay, let me start with this last one.
Okay.
It may sound impractical, but first of all, get some fresh air. That's what I would say. Sometimes you're caught up in everything that's going on around you. Sometimes you need to take a break, remove yourself from where you are, from everything, and take a look from the outside. There'll be a missing ingredient that you might notice, or in those moments where you're taking a break, you might come across someone or something that lets you see what you needed to do differently, or what you can do better, or what you were not doing at all. So I would say that to keep your business going, there is always something that can be done better. I always believe that you should, look up people who are doing the same line of business. If you cannot meet them physically, social media, once again, is an incredible tool. You can meet people online, you can interact with them, People are not as hostile online, especially if they see that you actually have some sort of thing going on with you that is similar to what they're doing. So I would say that, reach out to people, find yourself in circles where you can be motivated, or at least even share stories, because it gives you insights. Let's not say too much about that, but most importantly, take a break sometimes and link up with people who are doing such, or link up with people generally, and you will learn a thing or two. Most importantly, don't give up, because there's always rough days. So you need to keep pushing and striving and keep a clear head so that you can come up with creative solutions. If you do business the same way every day, nothing really changes. You have to constantly find something else differently to do that works. Then what would I say to people who want to go into this kind of business? I'll say light is beautiful. I love lights. It's not something that requires a lot. If you're committed and interested, you gain the basic knowledge. It requires a lot of capital, to be honest, but there are always ways that you can find around it. Start with where you are, start from where you are with what you have, and be determined to make it work. Most importantly, be sure that you're giving off quality, because that's what brings people back, and that's what brings new people to you. So let it be word on the streets that, oh, if you want the best thing, go and meet Susan, go and meet Joyce, Let that be word on the street. Focus on delivering your best in terms of service. Focus on building relationships. that lasts beyond a purchase. And then, most importantly, also seek guidance. I always say seek guidance. You can do things off on your own and learn the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
But when you listen to people who have, it helps you it cuts your journey by a long stretch. So yes, and please, it'd be nice to have more people, in this line of business
Mm.
that are doing something different. So that's it.
Nope. Yeah, I can see you have a lot of lights, lots of designs here. If people want to start this kind of business and they want to order in bulk from you, say at wholesale price, so they can resell, are you open to, such ideas or that line of business?
Oh yes, I'll be very glad to. We do both wholesale and retail. We're
Okay.
also happy to help you set up. We're happy to give you, I mean, let's not call it consultation because then the idea will be, oh, you're going to pay for it.
Mm.
But we're happy to put you through. We're happy to do wholesale. We're happy to do retail. We'll always find something at every stage of entry, that you want to come into. So we're more than happy to do that.
Okay. Okay. I remember you mentioned to me that you do installations.
Yeah.
Yeah. So could you tell us a little bit about that? Do you if I'm buying just one light, for example, just one, maybe one chandelier or one fitting, I don't know how to put it.
Yes.
Yeah, are you open to come and install, or must I have to purchase like a lot and then you have to come and do an entire, installation for entire building?
Okay.
Yeah.
So even if you're purchasing just one POP fitting,
Yes.
we're happy to come and do installations
Okay.
at the client's request. Typically, we leave the options open
Okay.
for the client, but we also, for some of our lighting products, we recommend that we install because your regular electrician might not understand, the technique or the logic behind it, and then sometimes they do a faulty installation and you say, oh, it's the product. So sometimes for certain products, we insist that, oh, we need to do this installation, but we still leave it open to you and we could guide your own installer on how to do it. So occasionally we have, because majority of our products are from Europe, from Greece, but occasionally we have other products because our clients may, well, let's not use the word demand. They would insist that they want us, to be the ones to supply because they are sure that even if we give them China, it's a good source, and all. So for things like that, we could say, okay, you can handle that installation by yourself. But we also do the installations ranges from not just lights, we do electrical wiring. So if you have a new
Okay.
building or you're remodeling, we could do wiring installations for you. We have we read electrical drawings, we have engineers, we have consultants that we work in partnership with. So whatever the size of the project, we can install and we can also consult. We interpret drawings and all of that. So yes. So we can also come just to, if you're having some flickering issues, we can also come and do that.
Oh,
Check it
really?
for you, yes. So
People will feel that this kind of organized, company or
no,
store, if I have just a little problem, let me just call a regular electrician to come and have a check.
no.
They might bill me too high and all that. Oh,
It's the 1 naira that brings the tens or the hundreds.
yeah.
Also, we have technicians, of different levels of expertise.
Okay.
So yes, so we have something that is not such a major job. We make sure that all of them are well trained, of course, but different levels of technicality requires different levels of expertise and experience, and of course, by implication, different levels of cost as well. But we try, to be reasonable to everyone so that we can accommodate as many as are really looking, to see what we can offer that is good for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Susan. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for sharing your story with us. Thank you
Thank you
for
so much.
inspiring us today. Yes, we hope that other people have learned from your story and this would help them, keep pushing in their businesses, and even those who have ideas of starting, they don't even know what to start up with. I hope they've been inspired and then they can say, okay, I would like to go into the lighting business because, Susan is doing so well.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes,
Thank you
you're
for the
welcome.
opportunity to share my story.
Yeah.
And I also appreciate what you're doing. Thank you for putting things like this out there because a lot of people really need to hear that they are not alone, or that, things are actually possible.
Mm.
So thank you for what you're doing. Please don't stop. And thank you for having me as well.
All right, thank you so much, our viewers and listeners. Thank you for always supporting us by subscribing, by liking, sharing, and also your comments and feedback. Thank you for staying with us today. Please join us on our next episode. Thank you.